Hello, my fabulous Sonder fam. Welcome to our Tuesday night journaling social. I haven't got to do one of the journaling prompts for a while. I do a lot of the weekly setups and the monthly setups, but it is always fun when we get to do one of these, one of the journaling prompts. And I will tell you, they're a little deep. We're going to dig into our beliefs. We're going to do some deep digging. So just kind of prepare yourself for that. Take a deep breath. Hopefully, you had a good day. Time to kind of relax, got something nice to drink, got your February journal here with you. We are going to work on pages 13 and 14. And this is one of my beliefs here is that winter is just an excuse to love your home more deeply and all the fun, cozy winter things, even though it was 70 degrees here in Denver yesterday. It was 45 today, so it was a little better. We haven't had much snow at all. It's very, very dry. So who knows what's going to happen with the crazy weather. I know a lot of you, I saw some of you saying it was like 9 degrees, or you've gotten a lot of snow. I know the East Coast has gotten quite a bit of snow. We have not gotten much snow here yet at all. So weather is just a little wacky, but hey, that's okay. Winter is still an excuse to love your home more deeply. So hopefully everyone's feeling that. If I haven't met you yet, my name is Maya. I am coming to you from Denver, Colorado. And I want to make sure that you set your chat, your Zoom chat to everyone. That little blue box down in the bottom has a tendency to flip back to host and panelist. And when it does that, the only people who can see what you write are myself and my fabulous co-facilitator who you've seen in the chat, Jennifer Kay. She is helping you, reminding you to set your chat to everyone. She'll pop on and give a little wave. She's up in Minnesota, so she got more cold weather than we did down here for sure, and some snow. But so she'll be keeping an eye on the chat if you need anything from her. And then just a few other housekeeping rules here, community guidelines, I should call them. We want to make sure that you're kind and courteous to both yourself and others. No promotions or spam there in the chat. We respect everyone's privacy. No hate speech or bullying. Limiting those repetitive product and accessory questions. It's fine if you have a few questions about pens that you use that don't bleed, or maybe where somebody got some of their stickers. But the best place to ask those really is in our Sonder Club app, so folks can give you some links and those kinds of things. And then any of those customer care inquiries, like you need to check on shipping, you need to update your billing information, update your address. Those all go to hello@silkandsonder.com. Jennifer and I do not have access to your account, so we can't check on anything or fix anything for you there. So those all go to hello@silkandsonder.com. Just keep in mind they're a Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 Pacific Coast group. So sometimes they might not get back to you right away, but they definitely will get back to you. And then ultimately remember that these socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community. And goodness knows we have such a fabulous, supportive, creative, fun community here that, and you can see the chat gets going kind of fast there sometimes. But then ultimately, you're responsible for your own emotions, well being, and decisions. So if there's anything that we're working on that is just not your jam at that time, right? You're just not feeling it. It's a little too much. You want to skip over that. Feel free to go to your coloring page. Feel free to maybe go to one of the other pages. Maybe you just want to doodle. Maybe you just want to sit back, hang out in the chat, sip some tea, have a little me time, right? This is your time. You've carved out your time here to be with us. So do what you need to do for that. If the music I play isn't quite your jam, you can mute that. If my voice isn't your jam, you can mute me. We have closed captioning enabled. So again, do what you need to do in this hour. This is your time, and we want to make sure that you're using it as you want to. There's no right or wrong way to be here in these socials. So, this month's theme has been belief. And I think it's been really interesting to kind of see how folks are kind of digging into this idea. What are my beliefs? I think the trick with a belief, right? It's just a thought that you keep thinking. And a lot of times the thoughts that we think we don't necessarily think about where they came from or think about what they are or think about if they're truth or if they're fact. They're just a thought. And some beliefs we've had for a long time. Some beliefs might be new. Some beliefs might be rooted in fact. Some beliefs might be rooted more in opinion. They're there, right? And so that's kind of been interesting this month. We've been kind of digging into that, and we're definitely going to dig into that this evening as well. So, but just remember that, right? A belief, I'm not going to tell you your belief is right or wrong. No one can tell you that. Our beliefs are kind of like our feelings, right? They're there. We can dig into them. We can kind of think about them. We can really kind of process them. And the other thing too is you can always change your beliefs, right? So just kind of keep that in mind, just like we can change our feelings, change our moods. So, our agenda for tonight, we are going to do a little opening activity. I am actually going to flip it up a little bit and we're going to do page 14, our belief journal prompts, and then we will do the gratitude log that is on page 13. I always think the gratitude log is a little bit lighter, so we'll do a couple meaty chunks and then we'll have some nice relaxing there at the end where you can just kind of have fun with it. So, we are going to do our opening activity is a belief anchor. We're going to do a little bit of drawing. Now, I know you might have a belief that you are not an artist. Oh, I can't draw. My belief is I can't draw. Okay, we're going to put that aside. We're going to take that, we're going to put that belief aside, and we're just going to have fun with this, right? Nobody has to see your drawing. Nobody is going to grade you, right? And I will show you mine so you can see mine, right? This is an activity to get our brains kind of warmed up with this belief idea. Okay. So close your eyes, right? Maybe take a deep breath in. No, we're going to do a little bit of drawing on a page, a blank page. If you don't want to draw in your journal, if you want to draw on a scratch piece of paper, you can totally do that. We're going to think about a belief that we have. It could be about ourselves, it could be about the world, it could be just whatever belief we have that keeps us steady, that we kind of hold on to. Maybe the belief is, I am resilient. Or maybe your belief is, people are inherently good. Maybe your belief is, the universe has my back, right? There's some examples there. And just really hold that belief in your mind, right? And maybe you just want to write it down. Write it down at the top of the page or on that scratch paper, what your belief is, and just feel that weight of the belief, right? What is this belief that you're holding on to? What is this belief that keeps you steady? The belief maybe that you go back to, maybe it's your strongest belief. So if this belief were a shape, what shape would it be? So you're going to find that blank space or the scratch paper, anywhere like that. We are going to use our non-dominant hand. I know I'm throwing all these curveballs at you. First, you're going to have to draw. We're thinking of a belief. Oh, Linda says she's ambidextrous. That's fine. We're going to use our non-dominant hand. So I use my left hand and we're going to draw a shape, right? This does not have to be anything complicated. It can be as complicated or as simple, whatever that you want to do, right? Maybe it's a jagged triangle. Maybe it's a squiggly line. Maybe it's a heavy solid circle. Maybe it's a swirling vortex. Don't overthink it. We're just going to let the pen move. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you draw this drawing first. Right. And then what we're going to do, and I'll play a little bit of music, and then we're going to switch back to our dominant hand and decorate the shape with maybe some patterns or doodles that represent the things that support your belief. All right. So this is mine, right? I do not think this will be placed in a museum anytime soon, but I had a baby elephant walk. I'm probably not going to play baby elephant walk, but that would be good music. So again, maybe you want to do it with your eyes closed and your non-dominant hand. Just draw a shape. So I wrote down, my belief is I am smart, right? And this was my attempt at a light bulb, which I gotta say, I feel like I did pretty good drawing with my non-dominant hand with the light bulb, kind of little squiggly lines in there. And then I drew lots of things on the outside that support that. right? I drew some books because I read. I am smart. I read. I have kind of like a ruler and a person like talking about growth. Nikki, you're so funny. um, I've got a puzzle piece. I've got kind of like some little swirls I've got from point A to point B. Now, I only drew the light bulb with my left hand. Everything else was with my dominant hand, right? So that's what you're going to do. So go back to this slide here. So we're going to think of our belief, and I see some people already popping in their beliefs. I am loved, right? Any of that stuff. So take that belief, think about it, hold it in your mind, think about the shape that it would be, use your non-dominant hand, draw the shape, then switch back and decorate it. Right? So feel free to share in the chat what you would like. I'm going to play just a little bit of music, let you work on this, and then I'll pop back in and we're going to talk a little bit more about some other things to kind of think about this drawing. So I'm just going to play a little bit of music and let you do your drawing. If you're still working on your drawing, you can still keep working on your drawing, right? So, and I know some folks I saw had kind of joined us a little bit late. Kimber, that's okay if your mind's blank. You can always do this later. You can always think about it later. You can always watch the recording and work on it, right? So now that you've got this shape, this anchor shape, this belief shape, and you've maybe started to decorate it with some patterns or some doodles that represent and support your belief, I also want you to think about that shape that you drew with your non-dominant hand, right? Does it look heavy and grounded or light and buoyant? Does it match how this belief feels in your daily life? Look at those supports that you added with your dominant hand. Are they protecting the belief from the outside or are they fueling it from the inside? So if your anchor belief, if this anchor drawing that you had a physical texture, what would it be? Would it be smooth like glass, rough like stone, soft like moss? What would it be and why? Right? So I'll play just a little bit of more music. I'll kind of pop back and forth between these slides. When I think about this, when I think of my drawing, I think of light, right? Like I drew this light bulb, smart. It's kind of like the light going on. And then all the things, I have things outside it that are kind of things that I feel like help me with the smart vision, and then kind of things inside where I have like a little heart, I have some exclamation points, I have some check marks, I have kind of the little circles within circles, I have the point A to point B that is all the inside. So I've got things outside and I've got things inside. So I'll let you again just kind of work on this. I'll play just a little bit of music, let you kind of see what you come up with to answer this set of questions. All right. So I love folks sharing in the chat. See, people are like, oh, this is turning out way better than I thought. And I think a lot of times when we hear we're going to draw something, you instantly are like, oh, no, I don't draw. Right. There are some people who are like, yay, I draw. I love to draw. I love to doodle. But I think many of us have that belief of like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. So I appreciate so much folks trying, really kind of thinking about it. Sometimes it's hard to come up with the belief, but I saw some of the different beliefs of I can be my own rock. I saw someone who drew said they did a timeline for their anchor and then the different things along the timeline. Someone was talking about how their the texture would be rough like sandpaper. Their belief was I am grateful and resilient. The texture is rough like sandpaper, right? And really kind of thinking about what that looks like. I like the one that says going back and forth between life is good and I am strong and my shape is a star. I think that a star works very nicely for both of those shapes. And a lot of folks talking about how um, they kind of had all the people that support them, putting them around that, and I think that's a great idea too, right? If you have mentors or family members or friends or coworkers who help you support that belief, who help you protect that belief, maybe from the outside, maybe they fuel it from the inside, the memory of some of our loved ones who are no longer with us, but they really fueled that belief. Can be there as well. So hopefully you enjoyed kind of spending a little bit of time with this drawing. You don't have to show anybody if you don't want to, right? It's always kind of fun. I always try to find something that's kind of fun, a little bit artsy, but not too intimidating, right? So hopefully that was okay. Hopefully that feels kind of good. And maybe for the rest of the week, you might want to embellish it. You might want to add some stickers. You notice I did not when I was talking to Jennifer before we started the call. I didn't use colored pens. I didn't use colored pencils. I didn't use markers. I didn't use stickers. I just grabbed a ballpoint pen and just started doing it, right? I didn't let myself think about it. I just did it really quick. And sometimes that is the best way to do some of these activities, right? To not overthink it. You know how we tend to overthink things, but we just do them. So I appreciate you all just doing it with all of the rest of us. So thank you all so much for spending a little time there with your anchor belief, which is a good warm up for we're going to go ahead and do page 14 now. To really think about and dig into a little bit more of those belief journal prompts. So the three questions in on this page, excuse me, there's three different boxes. I'm going to give you plenty of time to work on these. The first one says, what are three core beliefs you hold about yourself? Are these beliefs empowering or limiting? So hopefully you already have one of your core beliefs that you came up with for a little activity there. See how I did? I already gave you a little extra so you were ready for the homework here. And then the second box says, are there any beliefs you've outgrown or are ready to release? And those could be one of those core beliefs. It could be some different beliefs that you're thinking about. And then how might letting go of this belief create more space for growth or peace? And I think one of the things, sometimes it's easier said than done to say we're going to let go of a belief. So I think that's really something that we're kind of working on all month here. But really thinking about those core beliefs that are those deeply held beliefs that inform how we see ourselves, how we see the world. They do have a large influence on our perceptions and our decision making. Right. And there's really kind of these different types of core beliefs. Self-related is what we're working on here in these three boxes. So maybe it's a more of a positive belief, like I am likable, or mine was I am smart. Maybe a little more negative, like I am a boring person, or I'm not good at art. Maybe it's related to others, or maybe it's world related. But again, for these purposes, we're going to mostly focus on the beliefs we hold about ourselves. However, if you would prefer to work on beliefs that you have that are related to others or world related beliefs, you can absolutely do that as well, right? I always want to give you the option of having something a little bit different to make this page meaningful for you. So I have those questions. Again, we're kind of holding them in our head. And I thought this was a really good, really kind of captured some core beliefs, where they come from, and how we can have some self-compassion in either letting them go or reshaping them. Right. So the first one is definitely something that I had struggled with, was people who sleep in are lazy and unproductive. It's kind of a joke with one of my sisters. She loves to sleep. She sleeps quite a bit. She's a nurse. She's tired a lot of the times, but I always joke and I'm like, so lazy. But growing up, I was taught that sleeping in was lazy. I was scolded whenever I slept in. We always got in trouble if we slept in, right? But now I think about it more, and it's, if I'm sleeping in, then maybe I'm not getting good enough rest. Rest is important. So I want to kind of reshape that people who sleep in are lazy and unproductive to people who sleep in maybe making sure that they are getting enough rest, and rest is important. Yeah, Andrea is saying if you're on time, you're late, right? This idea of these different beliefs that we have. Or what about my needs aren't as important as others are? A lot of times that comes about and comes from when we don't have strong boundaries, we don't honor our own needs, having our needs ignored in childhood. And really, we can morph that more into my needs are important. I need to vocalize and prioritize them. What about the one I make bad decisions, right? I always make bad decisions. Um, One time I made a decision that resulted in someone getting hurt. Decisions were always made for me, right? So maybe that's where that comes from. But if you move that into I am learning and growing, I made a decision based on what I knew and felt to be true in the moment, see how that looks different, right? So again, we're thinking about three core beliefs we hold about ourselves, or you could do for other, you hold like in general, people who sleep in are lazy and unproductive, those kinds of things. And are these beliefs empowering or limiting? Bad decisions can be kind of fun, though, Nikki. I agree. I also wanted to put this on here because I think I love how folks are kind of resonating like, oh, yeah, I have that belief too. Or, oh, yeah, we were kind of told that as kids. Or I remember that. Here's 23, and I don't know how they came up with 23 common limiting beliefs almost everyone has, right? Like, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve success. I'm not smart enough. I can't do that. I'm too old or I'm too young, right? Whole successes for other people. Maybe you have some of these, or maybe you're working on kind of moving away from these, because I think these would be beliefs that maybe we've outgrown and we're ready to release, right? And how might letting go of one of those beliefs create more space, right? So if I let go of the I'm not talented enough, right? If I let go of that and I say I am talented and I can keep learning, right? So I could let that go, and letting go of that would maybe enable me to learn, enable me to grow, enable me to achieve things maybe that I didn't think I was going to be able to achieve. Right? Here's this woman with all sorts of thoughts, beliefs going through her mind, right? Unless I'm in control, I'm unhappy. Women are smarter than men. It's my job to take care of others. People who don't try new things are losers, right? All these different kinds of beliefs that kind of pop up um, as we're thinking about them. And I'll kind of cycle through these as you're working on these three boxes, right? Or what if you have one of these beliefs? Maybe you've been working on your beliefs and you're thinking about, what about I am a powerful creator? What would that feel like to have that belief about yourself? I am worthy of a beautiful life, right? I am lovable and worthy of good things. Everyone has their own inner guidance, right? So there's kind of a set here. Oh, Jennifer says, I always think I'm not an attentive enough mother. I think every mother probably thinks that, right? Um, and so we're just going to kind of think about that. And what would it feel like if you release that, right? If you let go of the I'm not an attentive mother, right? And maybe what you need to do is to come up with some facts. What are some facts that say you're not attentive? Well, like, is that something that you can think of in your life? Um, is that something, yeah, I'm a failure if it's not perfect, right? So spend a little bit of time with these questions. I'll cycle through these slides so you can kind of see them. I think a lot of us, and again, these don't have to be negative thoughts per se, but I know that's where sometimes our beliefs come from. Our beliefs, the ones that we pull out really quickly, sometimes are the ones that we use to beat ourselves up with. So if we have those three core beliefs about ourselves, are they empowering or limiting? Are there any beliefs that we've outgrown and we're ready to release? Maybe we're going to work on that this month. We're going to work on releasing that belief that we've outgrown. And then how might letting go of this belief create more space for growth or peace? All right. So thank everybody sharing in the chat. Keep that up. Some people maybe are focusing on writing in their journal. You can absolutely do that. I will play some music to let you work on that, and then we'll check back in and see how everybody's doing. Such great conversation in the chat. I love everyone kind of sharing some of the different beliefs that they have, kind of discussing whether they're limiting or empowering. I wrote down like my I am smart belief is very empowering, but every once in a while I will catch myself like a belief creeping in that maybe I'm not smart, but then I can be like, no, I'm smart. I have plenty of evidence that shows that, right? So it's kind of this empowering belief that kind of helps some of the other beliefs that go along that try to kind of creep in there. Pamela said, a bazillion women think that they are not enough, including me. How can we all shed this belief? And you are so right. That was one that I struggled with for a long time. And I think I still sometimes struggle to release that. And I think the way that I get over that is I say, I am enough. I will tell myself, I am enough. I will write it on my mirror with the marker. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Right. And sometimes you just have to keep saying it to yourself when you catch that limiting belief kind of popping up. The other one I saw several people kind of had versions of the like, I have to do all the things. I need to do everything. I need to do everything myself. I have to do all the things. I have to shoulder all the responsibility. I have to get the things done. I've got to get it done. And I used to kind of have that too. Like I need to do all the things. It kind of goes with the I am not enough, right? So like how I can be enough is if I do all the things. And then I found a really good quote that I like to remind myself of. I can do anything, but I can't do everything. And that's okay, right? That's enough. I can do anything, but I can't do everything. And a lot of times I literally have to say that to myself when I'm trying to, run 20 errands or trying to get lots of different things done. I think, I can do anything, but I can't do everything. And so I'm not going to do this. And that's going to be okay because probably in 5 years, that thing that I just didn't do, it's not even going to matter anymore. So this is a really good page to kind of reflect on throughout the week. If you are working with a therapist, this is a great page to, if you've been kind of filling this in and working on these different boxes, bringing this in to have them kind of see what you're working with, really kind of thinking about the beliefs that you've outgrown. I think sometimes just recognizing, like, here's this belief I have, I want to let it go, and just recognizing that and naming it. Um, helps a lot of times kind of release that magic that it has on you. Sometimes speaking it to somebody else, like, oh my gosh, I really feel like I'm not enough, or I feel like I have to do all the things, or, these are these, and then you realize, like, I don't have to. Right. So I know this was a deep one, right? And kind of our initial one was deep. Maybe you want to draw a picture of some of these, draw a shape. Of some of these beliefs, these three beliefs. Draw your shape. You don't have to do it with your non-dominant hand if you don't want to, right? Draw the shape. And then maybe think about if it's a limiting belief and you're wanting to let go of it. Maybe you draw the shape on some paper, you write the things about that belief, and then you crinkle it up or tear it up and throw it away. Or I would say burn it, but I don't want anybody to have any fire issues. So only if there's a safe way to do that. But sometimes just tearing it up, just tearing it into lots of little pieces. I am releasing this belief. I've outgrown it. I'm done. I don't need this belief anymore. And then let it go. Oh, I love that. My therapist told me I am still a worthy human, regardless of what I do or don't accomplish or produce. Another one I have to remind myself is you don't have to earn rest. You don't have to prove that you can rest, right? You don't have to be productive every moment of the day. Sometimes simply sitting and resting is what you need, and you can do it, and you don't have to earn it, right? And that can be a hard one, I think, for some of us too, right? We think we have to earn rest. We have to have done X number of things before we can rest. So thank you all so much for really kind of digging into this. I know that it's a lot sometimes to really kind of dig into, and I really do think the pen to paper, and again, I'm just using a ballpoint pen. I'm not using anything fancy, because one of my beliefs was if I'm going to write in my Silk and Sonder journal, I have to use pretty pens. I have to use colored pens. I have to write really neatly. I have to make it look pretty. And now, no, ballpoint pen, scribble stuff in there. It's absolutely fine. Because you know what? We are not going to come to your door and ask to see your journal and give you a grade. I promise. This is your journal. So you really want to you want to make it yours and you want to be happy when you use it. So, again, thank you for spending some time with this one. Now we're going to go on to see. I told you we'd do the hard one, the hard ones first, and then we'd go into maybe something that's a little bit easier to come up with. Is our gratitude log, and you'll notice there's 28 lines, 28 days in the month, right? You do not have to do every single day. Some people like to do their gratitude log each night before they go to bed. They will write the thing that they're grateful for on that line. You can totally do that. Today's just the 10th. You have plenty of time if you need to catch up. You can also just not catch up, right? But I think it's important to remember the benefits of gratitude. And there have been a lot of research studies that have really shown this idea of gratitude and how it can help, right? It can kind of help your mental state, right? It increases happiness by 25%. I don't know how they decide what 25% happier is, but okay. I haven't read the study, but I'm sure there's a measure that they're using in there. It improves your health. There have been studies that show that grateful mind is linked to healthier blood pressure and heart rates, as well as stronger immune system, less aches and pains. Grateful people sleep better sleep quality and sleep duration, which is why I love to do it before I go to bed, because then I think it helps with sleep. It helps us socially. Yeah, Andrea is saying in the chat, it reduces fear. Grateful people are more resilient to stress, and gratitude boosts productivity in the workplace. I love that 81% of people would work harder for a grateful boss, right? No, Adrian, you do not have to be guilty of thinking what you're grateful for, but forgetting to write it down as long as you thought about it. But I will say a lot of the studies say it actually is the pen on the paper, right, that makes you that helps have a lot of these benefits. So just remember that it can be a ballpoint pen, right, on a sticky note if you don't have your journal handy there. So here's some examples of things that folks have done in the past. One person, they drew really pretty little colored hearts on this page, and then they wrote them in, which I thought was super, super pretty. Fun way to kind of do that. You could maybe create a theme. Do you want me to go here? Let me go back really quick so you can snap a picture of that. So here's the first 3 benefits of gratitude. So snap a picture of that. You can also watch the recording later on when that gets posted. Here's our 4, 5, 6, right? Let's see what else. Maybe you want to choose a theme to create your gratitude list. Maybe you want to, I love this one. Take a walking tour of your house and list the 28 things that you're grateful for, right? Just walk around your house, walk around each room. What are you grateful for in each room? Maybe you want to list 28 important people in your life, right? You can do that. Maybe it's elements of nature. Maybe you want to use this space to write a letter to someone who impacted your life. Maybe you want to recall a memory that brings you a great amount of joy and just fill up the page. Maybe you want to do a timeline of 24 hours and write 1 point of gratitude for each hour of your day. Practice turning the frown upside down, right? If you're frustrated, down, angry, disappointed, how could you spin it to find the gratitude in that situation, right? So different ideas for things that you could do there. This person literally listed out something specific that they wanted to think about in terms of gratitude for each day. So they have things like a family member, a book, something small, a friend, a musician, band, or artist. You could also do 28 songs that make you feel grateful. That's a great idea. Maybe it's something tech related, a coworker, a song, something intangible, a mentor, a hobby, a food or a drink, someone who inspires me, a keepsake, a photograph, something I can't live without, a basic necessity, something at home, a family tradition, a teacher, instructor, or mentor, something that helps me on tough days. I am always grateful for an iced tea, a fresh brewed iced tea. Always grateful for those. Delicious. A group of people, something from my childhood, a simple pleasure, someone I love, an activity, a place, something I worked hard for, something about me, something about your town or your city, or a decision that you made. Also, if maybe writing things down isn't quite your jam, stickers. We all know we have lots of stickers. Everybody in Sonder Club always talks about all their stickers, their boxes of stickers. Here's a great place to put some fun stickers of things that you're grateful for. And your stickers can be happy because they fulfilled their sticker destiny and got stuck on a page, right? So you could start things out by saying, I'm thankful that blah, 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 right? You can always put it in that way as well. Here's some other fun ones that people have done. Use different colors. If you want to have a very colorful page, you can use that. Again, some fun little stickers, right? So lots of different ways that you can use this page, things that you can write. Again, you can do it in oops, I'm going the wrong way. Daily, right? So maybe again, before bed, I think is the best time to write that down is before bed, because that kind of gives you that grateful idea to put down. The other thing, when you think about people, I read this isn't, I mean, it's kind of like gratitude, but it's slightly different, but it's along those lines, and I thought I would share with you. When you're really irritated with someone, maybe it's the irritating person in line in front of you that's taking a long time, or maybe it's the person in the car in front of you that's driving really slow. Picture yourself helping them if they had a crisis, right? Picture yourself like physically being there and helping them if they were hurt, if they were sick, if they fell down and you needed to help them up. Picture yourself helping them and being just kind of in that situation, and then see how you feel. And at first I thought that was silly, right? But I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. And there was somebody in the car in front of me and they were driving goofy. And I was like, okay, I'm going to picture myself. This person has gotten into what if they got into an accident and they were hurt and I had to help them, right? And I pictured myself helping them. And it actually made me not be so irritated with them, which I thought was an interesting way to do. So maybe your gratitude log is more of this is a person I was kind of irritated with, and I pictured myself helping them, and then I wasn't irritated with that anymore. Right. So kind of thinking of those things. So we have a little bit of time left. So I'll play some music so you can kind of figure out how you want to do this. Feel free to drop in the chat if there's anything specific you're going to do. I'll cycle through these different examples so that you can write those down or take little pictures, and then we'll check back in and we'll wrap things up. And I know some of you might have to leave, and that's absolutely okay, right? Do what you need to do for you. All right. Well, believe it or not, we have come to the end of our hour together. I know it is always the fastest hour. It's much faster than a treadmill hour or an hour at work, right? So hopefully you've got some fun ideas for what to do with the gratitude log. You've really started kind of, again, digging into those beliefs, maybe finding some beliefs that you want to let go of. Again, those are good things to kind of bring through the rest of this week. I know it's a short month, but lots of opportunities to really kind of think about our beliefs and how they shape our behaviors and how we can actually change our beliefs and we can maybe adopt some new beliefs. So, I do want to mention that we have our seventh birthday bash, our 7 years of Silk and Sonder. We've got a little party on February 18th. Meha's going to be there. Jennifer O is going to be there. I will be there. Probably some other Silk and Sonder folks will be there doing some fun, have some fun trivia, some reflection prompts, lots of different things. If you're having any sort of error messages or any of those kinds of things, send a message to hello@silkandsonder.com so that they can help you with that and kind of get that all taken care of. So it's the 18th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I wish there was cake for everyone, but I don't think we can have virtual cake, right? We can do it that way. So also don't forget we have got lots of other fun socials coming up. So hopefully we will see you at those. And I will also pop my link in the chat for my playlist if you want to see that. Yes, tea, cake and tea. Yes, bring cake and tea. And hopefully we will see you all again soon. All right, everyone, take care.